On the Wake Up Radio presents The Center with your host, DC Radical One.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Elijah Lewis. I'm coming from you at the Springfield Town Center in Springfield, Virginia for the Fall Expo. But I want to take a minute to tell you about my book, Your Jewels Are in Your Journey, Life Lessons to Reach Your Optimal Self. This book is about giving us the tools we need to be our optimal self as we go about our journey. I tell everybody is that we're all on a journey, so on that journey we learn that life lessons are jewels, the people that we connect with to be better and inspire us along the way are jewels, and above all you find out that you yourself are a jewel. Because if you don't know who you are, it's hard to know where you're going. So if you're interested in learning more about me and my book or my motivational speaking, I speak on topics such as freedom from life's addictions, the reality of your vision, and many other topics. So if you want more information, go to my website, www.elijahlewis.org. You can get your copies, book me for motivational speaking, and above all, see where the journey takes you. And at the end of the day, may you find many jewels on your journey and continue to be the jewel that you are. Thank you.
Greetings, friends, family, allies, and enemies. I am your host, DC Radical One, and you have entered the center. Shout out to our wonderful producer, Cindy Ashby. You can check us out on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and iHeartRadio on the Wake Up Radio. So, I will give people time to come in because I didn't alert a lot of people. And I'll also give people time to come in because I changed the subject matter. I let the people vote. You all barely voted for this subject matter over one other one. BB48 the real Nephronage. And BB48 to Brother Tony. So originally I was going to talk about the black athlete, the hatred, the love-hate relationship for the black athlete, which, but then I gave you all a chance to vote, and you all voted for this. Like 25, at least 25 people voted. So we're going to talk about Israel's proxy wars in Afrika. So I'm going to give people a chance to come in and contribute to the discourse. So, and let me just say this, because of the unholy days coming up next week, and after that, Kwanzaa, closing out the year, we're going to have a change of schedule next week. And what we're going to do is we're going to move the shows up. So we'll probably be doing the center next Monday and SBL Talk next Tuesday. And I'll let you all know if there's a chance of doing anything Wednesday, which is Christmas Eve. For some reason I started to say New Year's Eve, but no. So, well, first of all, can y'all hear me? Number one, start with that. Before they little crow. So let me know if y'all can hear me clear before I get started. And so that's what we're going to do. Also, man, I didn't load it up, but let me see. Somewhere, I'm trying to think. Anyway, Let me find it. Let me make this announcement because I forgot. Time is moving so quick. So, thank you, brother. Thank you. 4 days from now, Sunday, Sunday, the 21st, we're going to be celebrating Dr. Chancellor Williams Day. We're going to have breakfast together, and then we're going to have the gravesite ceremony at his gravesite in Suitland, Maryland. So let me bring that information up. My apologies for not having it ready immediately. Don't really have an excuse. And I will repost it back on Instagram. Well, and on YouTube. I put it on YouTube already. So yeah, so all right, here we go. So the ninth annual, if I can say it, Dr. Chancellor Williams Day celebration, Sunday, December 21st. Gravesite ceremony will be at 1 p.m. The location of which is Lincoln Memorial Cemetery, 4001 Suitland Road, Suitland, Maryland, Section O, Lot 618, Grave 5. Join the Straight Black Pride Movement family for community breakfast in honor of our great ancestor, Dr. Chancellor Williams. This will be at Busboys and Poets from 10:30 to 12:30. This is the Anacostia Busboys and Poets, which is at 2004 MLK Avenue, Southeast Washington, D.C., 2020. So, if you're in the DMV area, we would appreciate if you come out to that. The ceremony is usually about, it depends on the weather. The weather Sunday is supposed to be warm, supposed to get up to the 50s. So we'll probably be out there about half an hour, 45 minutes at the most. Before the brother, you got ripped off. And also what I'll be doing is all the members, it's only like 5 y'all. All the members of the and the regular people who donate, because some of y'all donate basically every month, almost like a member. You'll get the raw footage of that as we film it, and you'll also get sent the previous celebrations of Dr. Chancellor Williams Day. So after that Sunday, probably towards the end of that week, I'll send that out. Unless you don't want to edit it, then I'll just send it out straight. So yeah, that we'll be doing. We'll be doing that this Sunday. So if you're in the DMV area, come on out. We will have the breakfast at Busboys and Poets. Last time I was there, they had some pretty good food. They have vegan options and of course non-vegan options. And I had my problems with the place, but it's close to where we're going. So it's a matter of convenience, among other things. And so yeah, that's what we're doing there. So, like I said, you all voted for this topic. What I realized after going back through some videos, I've kind of covered this topic before, if maybe not with this particular war. But I'm gonna be honest, it's almost silly how whenever you start looking into something and researching something, some type of way Israel stumbles their way into the conversation. Like, you don't even have to be looking for them. You can just be researching, hey man, who's involved in this, or what caused this problem, or who's secretly backing this person. And man, I'm not even gonna lie, it's crazy. Like 95 times out of 100, some type of way, either Israel or some major Israeli or Jewish person is involved. And I'm just like, what is going on? So no, we're not bringing up Nathan Kirsch, brother. He's not amongst the people we're bringing to the witness stand. Right. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of stalling because I'm waiting for the people to show up. Because, like I said, if 25 people voted on this and half of them wanted this topic, then I at least expect that number of people to show up for the show. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't think I'm asking for a lot. Maybe I am, but yeah. So what we're gonna do while we're waiting for those people, first you got ripped off. Yeah, no, yeah. We've been talking about the EFF. We talked about, I need to go back and find those shows and clip them. And brother, you got ripped off. Got me going back. I need to go back and find those shows and clip them and repost them. Even though that video was only 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. But I need to clip some stuff out of that and put that back up because I see people posting stuff about the EFF. Man, the EFF is Black Lives Matter for South Africa. That's all they are. Plain and simple. They're funded by a hat. They once we exposed it. This is what I'm noticing too. Before I get off on the tangent, this is what I'm noticing too a lot, especially with this AI. Once something is exposed, the AI will deny that that's what's happening, and then the organization or whatever will try to deny that they're involved in something. It doesn't even matter what, like, this is now the standard playbook. And then if you wait long enough, you won't be able to find an article that you found it on, or they'll come up with something new to try to debunk the article that you got it from. I'm starting to notice that a lot. So whenever people are noticing something, all of a sudden, the AI, it's like, well, there's no evidence to say. Every time I go on the AI, say there's no evidence. I'm like, that you tell there's no evidence for anything that ever took place, right? And then it'll try to lead you to articles debunking what you're looking for. So I don't know if anybody else has done that, has noticed that lately, but I'm noticing that a lot. But it only occurs when it got something to do with Israel. That's almost a giveaway. You don't even have to say you got nothing to do with Israel. They were like, it ain't got nothing to do with Israel. I'm like, oh, it definitely got something to do with Israel because I ain't asked you about Israel. You know what I'm saying? So man, the AI, at this point, the AI is just, at this point, it's becoming an Israel apologist. So yeah, I guess it depends on which AI you use, because they claim that Gronk is a virtual Nazi. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't really used Gronk, so I don't know what it got going on. But number two, real quick, I'm gonna run these commercials. I'm gonna come back, then I'm gonna start this show. So call your friends, tell them, hey, we're on, tell them we're ready, and tell them we're waiting on them so we can get started. Because freedom ain't free, and I need these views, please and thank you. All right, so we'll be back after these commercials.
Now, we're going to go and talk about AIPAC. What is AIPAC? The American Israel Public Affairs Committee. AIPAC. What does AIPAC do? AIPAC is the gangster with a whole lot of money that says, I'm going to buy you and pay you money, and you're going to make decisions that I want you to make. You're gonna do as I tell you, because I got my hands in your pockets. And they attached to people like Jeffrey Epstein, who take videos of the people that are supposed to be our representatives, and as they take those videos, they hold them hostage and say, vote as I tell you to vote. Do as I tell you to do.
I didn't even, the concept. I saw Naeem Akbar talking that black talk nigga gay, and I was out there telling everybody, yo, this dude gay. You remember back in the 90s, people hating me. Oh, this dude gay, man, we can't do this. You can't be up there talking black and be gay too. I was like, okay, he out the way. No, we're not doing this. I'm saying this because I did not imagine a time. Little old me from Southeast, where if they tell us to take a jab, stick ourselves, I'm gonna be the only one that wanna say something. Maybe the brother out in Whitaker, brother Darren, you know, we got a few brothers, but I'm talking about like, I'm thinking whatever they tell us to do, we got black people who studied under these people, we gonna say no. Or we gonna at least wanna investigate. I'm thinking it'll always be that way. I'm thinking if somebody's pushing this stuff, R. Kelly molesting children, we're gonna deal with this dude. I'm thinking everybody's gonna agree with that, because you don't mess with children.
That's right.
That's what I thought was, that's just how I thought we were, and that is who we are intrinsically, but I'm saying, I didn't imagine a world where I'm saying, don't vote for this dude, it's a trick. Come on, y'all. He's a mulatto who didn't grow up around black people. He a gay dude. He gonna push homosexuality. Y'all can't see this? I'm thinking, I'm telling y'all before he get in office, what are you talking about? And people who are the hardest nosed people in African nationalism, I mean the hard ones, looking at me, nah, you can't do that, dude. Y'all don't see this? I'm actually the only one that's gonna say, yo, you don't see. And then when he gets in and does what I say he does, okay, I saw. You messed up the first time. Okay, I saw. I'm thinking, okay, but now he going back for office. He done already made gay marriage legal. All right, now you get it. The dude, I told you he was a punk, he was a gump in the beginning. I still couldn't conceive. No, dude, if you're looking for somebody else to do it, you ain't studied the lessons of history. When you're passionate and pulled to do something and can't stop, it's a message being given to you. Ain't nobody coming. You gotta believe in yourself, because somebody decided that you was supposed to do something. So you can't turn it off and stop looking for people. You just gotta do what you do. We looked in the past, 1972. I was born in 1973. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm 50 in December. A year before I got here, they must have known I was coming. They said, let's get this thing out here now before you get here. They did what's called the Gay Rights Platform of 1972. This is just official document, sharing information. If you read, go look that up online for yourself. They're making it difficult to find. I don't know if people have been noticing this, but things that you used to get easily go and put it on the internet and find them, you can't find this stuff no more. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff you can't find. But I'm gonna bring your attention to just one. It's a bunch of stuff, all of it's aimed at children. Sex education to children, adoption, gay adoption of children. But there's one that's most important for what we're talking about today. And they break it down from the federal level and the state level. On the state level, they say every single state, they want laws repealing all laws governing the age of sexual consent. I'm gonna say that again. They want the repeal of all laws governing the age of sexual consent. Meaning a newborn baby, they want it to be legal to have sexual contact with a newborn baby. What year did I say? 1972. That's 51 years ago. Fast forward 21 years from then to 1993. In the interest of producing that result, they had right downtown, 30 minutes, not even 30 minutes if there's no traffic, go right up here East Capitol, go all the way up the road, you run right into it. They had the 1993 Gay Rights March on Washington. Let's see what that was about.
Check one.
Did y'all hear what they just said? Do I need to play that again? He said, don't play it again. He said, no, thank you. All right, I want to get it. They said, we're young, we're queer. We're going to do what? We're going to rule the world. Now remember, 21 years before that, what did they say that they wanted for children? Repeal all laws governing the age of sexual consent. They want to have sex with children and make it totally legalized. 21 years after they said that, they said, we're young, we're queer, we're going to rule the world. That was in 93. This is 30 years after that. So they've had 30 years to say we're queer, we're going to rule the world, which at that point they said, we haven't gotten to the point where we rule the world, because if they did, they wouldn't be saying that. They would say, we're young, we're queer, and we rule the world. They didn't say that. We're young, we're queer, we're going to rule the world and have it our way.
All right, brothers and sisters, and others who may be here. Again, I'm your host, DC Radical One. Let's get on to tonight's topic, man, and deal with Israel yet again, the affairs of Black people. So I'm going to start with an article from years ago, just to show that this is not something new, right? And this article is from the times of Israel. So people can't say, hey, you're being anti-Semitic. And I'm reporting what's being reported by an Israeli newspaper. Now, check this out, right? It says, Israeli arms helping to fuel the South Sudan war, says the UN. Now, the UN is basically a pro-Israel organization. Now, check this out. This is from 2016. This isn't new. This is from almost 10 years ago. It says the United Nations panel of experts found evidence of well-established networks of arms suppliers in Eastern Europe and the Middle East, including from Israel, that are fueling the war in South Sudan. Right? Let's make note of that. In a confidential report to the Security Council obtained by AFP on Thursday, the panel described the arms deals that are not recent and involve Israeli and Bulgarian firms. The council has threatened to impose an arms embargo on South Sudan to try to end the fighting that has killed tens of people and driven 2.5 million people from their homes. It says, while the arms deals date back to 2014 or earlier, this evidence nevertheless illustrates well-established networks through which weapons procurement is coordinated from suppliers in Eastern Europe and the Middle East, and then transferred through middlemen in Eastern Africa to the South Sudan. The panel is fighters loyal to South Sudanese rebel leader Riek Machar, recently turned up in the Democratic Republic of Congo, armed with Israeli-made automatic weapons that were sold that were part of a stock sold to Uganda in 2007. The weapons were likely taken from South Sudanese government stocks, either through battlefield capture or defections, said the report sent to the council last week. The panel said the Israeli-made rifles were largely part of a larger group of weapons that was transferred to South Sudan from Uganda. After receiving a tip from Spain, the UN experts are looking into arms trafficking networks based in Europe. They received an extensive list of small arms, munitions, and light weapons from the rebels in 2014. Let's stop right here. So, as we can see, this is not a one-off, and what we're about to talk about, what's going on now. This isn't something that happens every now and then. This is something that's been going on for years. Peace of brother Dawood. Good to see you, brother. You got Rivell said you can't do a program on AI without and transhumanism without diving into Jewish esoteric culture. Yeah, we'll get there, brother. I mean, the people didn't vote for that, so I didn't have to dive into none of that. It seems like you have already dove into that, so maybe I'll let you co-host that program. Yeah, we got free time. Yeah, but no, let's get back to this program. Again, this is 10 years ago. This is in South Sudan, and Israel's funding weapons to one of these sides. They're probably sending weapons to both sides of that conflict, as they often do. It's kind of interesting. I finally got a chance to see Superman 2025, and let's just say this: James Gunn basically put the Israeli-Palestinian conflict on the screen and had Superman take a side, and basically had Lex Luthor play, in essence, a New York Israeli. Like it was, unless I'm just misreading stuff, it was very obvious where James Gunn stands on that. So I had heard some people mention it, but I never saw the movie. I wasn't sure I would enjoy it based upon what I saw, but what I saw, when Superman was written by I had. So, what I saw was it was a much better movie than I thought. I went in with low expectations. So it was better. It was more action. It was just better movie than I saw. But like the political overtones were just on me. To me, it was like smack dab in your face. I was like, okay. So I guess James Gunn isn't a Zionist. I just saw his name and just assumed he was. Or either that, or he was playing both sides of the field. Because, that was interesting. But speaking of playing both sides of the field, yeah, this is one example of Israel or Israeli weapons finding their way into conflicts between different groups of Black people on the continent. Now, here's what we never talk about, right? If you were around in the 80s, you will remember when Uzis became popular. Uzi is an Israeli made firearm. Up until I wasn't that old, so me not hearing about it or knowing about it doesn't really mean anything. But up to 80s, early 90s, I had never heard of the Uzi submachine gun. Right? But in that time, or around that time, late 80s, early 90s, they became a weapon of choice. And you know what? I just remember where it got popularized. It got popularized in the media in the movie Scarface. If I'm not mistaken, there were some Uzis there. And then of course, it was my favorite TV show back in the day, Miami Vice. So through Scarface and Miami Vice, they became popular. But it is an Israeli made firearm. That became extremely popular, and they made it to the streets of inner city. Y'all know what that means, quote unquote, inner city America, and got in the hands of drug dealers, and many black people died in the hands of Uzis. And we never talk about the fact that those weapons were made. Those are Israeli made weapons of war that have found their way into the black community in America. So not only are weapons and money and other things being funded into wars on the continent, but those weapons found their way into the hands of young black people to commit basically suicide. You know, black people killing black people killing black people, excuse me. We don't talk about that part. You see what I'm saying? We never discuss these issues, and yet they are real. Because I know they're real. Because why? Because I was here to see it. In fact, I'm not even gonna lie. Now I'm sitting here thinking about it. Excuse me for allowing me to digress. Yeah, I referenced the firearm in some lyrics back when I was a youngster. So yeah. Brother Crow says some AK-47s are made in Israel as well. You got ripped off. Says anyone that watched the TV show Snowfall should remember that Leon got his Tech 9 from Avi. So yes, even in television program, they rub the truth in your face. Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot to watch all the Snowfall. And what I realized is like sometimes when you live through a period of time and you see these stuff, it's just like, yeah, no. I need to watch. Yeah. I wasn't in LA. I had actually been to LA right around the time stuff was popping off, and seeing like they was having some wild crime, like their news stories and stuff, and talking to people that was out there was like, huh? Like the stuff LA had popped in the mid 80s was they were just in front of other people. It was just straight crazy that they had going on. Like the stuff that you hear about, the gang culture and the violence and stuff and the type of weapons they had. Yeah, all that's real. All of that. That's what was going on in LA. So the stuff, the way the media portrays it, yeah, they may embellish it, but man, LA was crazy. And the weapons they had, I guess because it's a port city, I don't know. But the type of weapons they had, or maybe because of the money they was making, Freeway Ricky Ross was making, and spreading to other people, as far as for them to get firearms and stuff, the gangs, the type of stuff they had was crazy. I'm just thinking about like the firearms and stuff they had was insane at the time. So yeah, so I just wanted to point out this article real quick, just to give us a start, just to let us see how long that this stuff has been going on and how long Israel has been involved. It is, again, it's from the times of Israel, so it's not like I'm making this stuff up. I almost want to go through here and see if they got any other things that they got popping right now. But anyway, the next article I want to get to, let's see. Hey, can't see nothing on that. Sudan's RSF, Rapid Support Forces, denied purchasing cell phone spyware. Now, if we're talking about spyware, who do we think is funding spyware or created the spyware? I'll give you all one guess. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's check this out. Right. Says, and now this is from 2 years ago. Says the Rapid Support Forces (RSF) in Sudan denied reports by some media that the paramilitary group acquired spyware to track mobile phone communications. The Haaretz, again, Haaretz is an Israeli media source, reported on Wednesday that the RSF had a surveillance system similar to the Pegasus spyware, enabling the controversial militia to infiltrate a smartphone and turn it into a surveillance device. According to the newspaper, Greek-based surveillance firm Intellexa, run by a former Israeli military intelligence operative, Tal Dillian, delivered last May a spy system to the RSF. In a swift response to the report, the RSF issued a statement denying the quote-unquote false allegations. Rapid Support Forces firmly state that all information contained in the report is baseless and inaccurate. The statement said the article was part of a campaign by some quarters to distort the RSF image. Haaretz said that the shipment of the delivery of surveillance system was meant to remain secret. When news of its arrival reached Hemedti's rivals, the equipment was seen as so dangerous that an RSF commander, speaking on condition of anonymity, said it was smuggled out of Khartoum to the militia stronghold in Darfur to prevent its seizure by the army. There were reports that the RSF used the system. The RSF used a spy system run by Russian mercenary group Wagner. I'm trying to understand that. Oh, there were reports. So they thought it was, well, if they thought it was the Russian group, they thought it was the Russian group because the Israelis said it was the Russian group. That's why they thought it was the Russian group. Because Russia is not a friend of Israel. So that's where that came from. So again, this is what, 3 years ago? This is from the Sudan Tribune. So Israel sending out spy or an Israeli intelligence operative, right? Let's read that again. A former Israeli military intelligence operative, Tal Dillian, is giving not only weapons but actual spyware. Hey man, what y'all want me to say? Now, I'm gonna play this video, I think, where a sister talks about all the different places in Africa where Israel has their hand in the affairs of Africa. And we'll see that this is not a one-off at all.
But if you simply take a closer look at their actions across the African continent, you'll get a completely different story. Israel has been facilitating destabilization through military efforts across the continent since the 60s. Let's first take a look at the Congo. Israel was supportive of the assassination of Patrice Lumumba, the Congo's first prime minister after they gained their independence. Lumumba wanted to unite Africa and have them be less dependent on their former colonizers. Now, while it was the US and Belgium who were responsible for Lumumba's death at only 36 years old, it was Israel who then helped them back Mobutu Sese Seko, an intensely corrupt leader who was willing to be a puppet for the West. They gave Seko huge amounts of money and arms to maintain the violence needed for Western mineral extraction, and Israel's special interest are the minerals needed to create the weapons they rely on, like the weapons used right now to commit a genocide against the Palestinian people. To date, Israel still trains the militia responsible for the violence and enslavement of the Congolese people. They too are experiencing a genocide. In Nigeria in the late 1960s, Israel meddled in the Nigerian Biafran War by giving assistance to both sides. And they did this knowing full well that the Nigerian military were committing atrocities against the Biafran people who wanted their independence. They gave the Biafrans $200,000 to buy weapons, and they gave Nigeria their equipment to ferry in soldiers, bombs, ammunition, and other supplies to their front lines. That would be like going to a boxing match and betting on both fighters. Fast forward to the 90s, the Rwandan Civil War, the fastest paced genocide in human history, where 1 million people died in only 100 days. Israel was one source that provided the Hutus with weapons to massacre the Tutsis. They sent weapons to a country where they already knew a genocide was taking place, and a significant amount of the fighting now in the Congo that allows the enslavement of the Congolese people and exploitation of the land is being committed by M23. And who are M23? Well, they are the militia made up of ethnic Tutsis who were genocided in the 90s with the help of Israel. I've only mentioned 3 countries. There's also Angola, Cameroon, Ivory Coast, Kenya, Morocco, South Sudan, Uganda, Guinea, and my very own Ghana. Israel is not the most moral army in the world, but they just might be the most morally corrupt army in the world.
All right, shout out to that sister. I've had that video for a while. I don't think I ever played it though, but as we saw, I mean, she named, what's she named, like 10 nations? Uganda, and again, we have to remember that Idi Amin Dada in Uganda, the former leader of Uganda, he ran out the Israelis. I wish I had that video where he said, I chased out the Israelis because they were stealing all the money. So they had been a problem in Uganda, and of course, as we know, I'm pretty sure I talked about it before. Theodore Herzl, one of the places that he was talking about putting a nation state for the Jewish people back in the, I think, late 1800s was Uganda. I don't actually know what I don't remember the reasoning for that, but Uganda was as high up on the list as Palestine. And again, Theodore Herzl is really the father of modern Zionism. So that should tell you something about the religious reasoning that they use now. You know, that I don't know how they were going to finesse it and claim that God promised them Uganda. I guess they were just going to, remake the maps and say that Israel was really in Africa, which I'm sure some people will agree with, but that would not have been to the benefit of Black people. So, did I cut the music off? Okay, my bad. So, yeah, and I don't have the banner up either. So, this just goes to show how the topic of today, Israel having a hand in various wars, coups, uprisings, and generally bad things, that happen on the continent of Africa. Now, we will look at, especially like people on the continent, they'll look at their former colonizer, if they have any, they have any self-love, self-respect, or whatever. They'll look at their former colonizer as a bad guy, depending on where they're from. So they'll say, oh, the Belgians, or the French, or the British, or whoever the case may be. Those people are bad. But a lot of times, man, the connections to Israel, or the connections to Zionists before Israel, or the connections to various Jewish interests never gets fully discussed. But if you look underneath the surface, it's right there and it's staring you in the face. Like the sister said, she even mentioned Ghana, and I was like, I need to do some research on that. I think I saw Brother You got ripped off says, as a side note, there's been several stories about Israel trying to relocate Palestinians from Gaza to South Sudan, as well as sending uncharted flights of Palestinians to South Africa with no notice. Now, the South Africa part is interesting because the Zionists, one of the places that they are taking over, like literally, other than Ukraine, is South Africa. So the fact that they're sending Palestinians there too is crazy. That means they're sending them there to torture them again. So that's just wild. So thank you for that information, brother. And greetings to Sister Sonia. I thought I didn't credit Brother Dawood. Who did I say, brother? So I thought I said Brother Dawood. So my apologies. I'll just put him up on the screen. So my bad. Yeah, credit to Brother Dawood. My apologies, brother, if I didn't credit you. Okay. All right, thank you, brother. You got ripped off. So yeah. As we have seen, and the sister said Asia, I'm gonna just be completely honest. It's gonna sound crazy. No country exists on earth except Israel. Y'all gonna be like, well, DC, what are you talking about? I guarantee you, any country that you look at that you think is they're spying or they're causing war or they're doing XYZ, there's an Israeli behind it that's making them do it. Like, no, none of these countries exist. Just like the United States doesn't exist. The United States government doesn't exist. The United States of Israel's government exists. I just saw something. Somebody just sent me something where I actually don't even know who the person was, but they were saying that they called Trump the first Jewish president. And I've seen it before, but seeing it again and seeing the whole clip and seeing them sharing and celebrating, I was like, well, me and Jenny don't have to. We don't have to. I mean, what we've been saying is right here now. We ain't got to argue with nobody. They putting it out loud. Nobody's hiding anything anymore, right? I mean, he's gone from, and then they talk about passing some anti-Semitism bill and all this. I mean, it's just insane how they don't even hide taking over your country. I guess once they get firmly entrenched, then they just come out and say, yeah, we ruling, and what you gonna do about it? And apparently the answer to that is nothing. No one's going to do anything about it. So I guess they have no reason to hide. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's insane. You know, I'm just waiting, because one thing I have seen with China is so weird to me. And I think the reason it's so weird is because I know, in fact, Zuckerberg has married into somebody's prominent family. You're starting to see all of a sudden these various wealthy Jewish people marrying into prominent Chinese families. And it's just like, you just look up and you just like, my first thought is what's going on? Then my second thought is, you know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? That's you know what I'm saying? That I ain't got to say nothing else. You know, even when I look at France, like I look at France and I'm like, okay, yeah, France is the problem. And I'm looking at France in the AES thing, and then next thing I know, what's her name? Candace Owens is talking about, you know, because she has a problem with France, because she basically exposed with. First of all, the president of France was groomed by his mate when he was young. So his mate is a pedo. In addition to that, and it's only put compelling evidence that the person is a man. That's great, right? All that's great. So Candace Owens got a problem with France. Next thing I know, she says that France is working with Israel to take her out. Bruh. Like, this stuff be crazy. How are they involved in everything? You know what I'm saying? And again, I'll go back to the Charlie Kirk thing, right? The Charlie Kirk thing. Remember, I showed the video. Charlie Kirk basically sat up there and said, he's like, man, listen, I've been to Israel. There's no way that stuff went down like it went. Right? He said that publicly. And then he started sweating. But he kept talking. And he said, how locked down the country is, and this and that, and so forth. So, and then he asked the question, did somebody give us that? All right, that's one thing. Then he was arguing with them about the money they was giving. That's two things. Then something else happened. Next thing you know, Charlie Kirk ain't breathing no more. Now, I'm not saying definitively, because I don't have no documentation that Mossad took out Charlie Kirk. But I'm saying him not breathing looks very Mossad-like, right? Like, again, if you've been paying attention, and we've talked about it on this show, we've had multiple shows on this, they've carried out a litany of assassinations in various countries over the last, just 5 years? Like crazy, right? So the only difference between that and what's happening here is they haven't claimed the stuff that's happening here. They openly claim the stuff over in places like, if it's a place where they think the people can't defeat them militarily, they openly they committed, I don't know how many assassinations in Iran, in Lebanon, amongst Hamas and Hezbollah. Like open assassinations of political figures and leaders and government officials, and you name it. Like Mossad openly tell you, like, yeah, we did it. What you gonna do about it? So it's just, I mean, it's crazy, really. But if ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it, then I mean, apparently, if no one is gonna challenge Mossad, then they gonna keep doing what they doing. The closest thing to stopping them doing what they doing was when Iran pulled out all them missiles that they've been working on for years and years and years and years, for literally 2 decades, and said, you know what? Take some of this, some of that, some of these, some of those, and let me show you the new stuff that we got. And we'll hold the ones we still working on, just in case you try to raise up. And then next thing you know, Netanyahu's calling Trump, talking about, hey man, make them stop and make a deal. But other than that, there has been nothing slowing down the Israeli global war machine that's just blowing up everything, just attacking seemingly everybody. Like it's insane, man. So I can understand how if somebody says, oh man, that's just conspiracy theory, or you feeding into that, because it's literally, truthfully, what's going on is really unbelievable. And Brother Dawu said, this from the nation that brought you slowly told you. Right. You know what I'm saying? So when the Charlie Kirk thing happened, there were people discussing was the explosives in his mic, because the way the shooting supposedly went, the victories and stuff wasn't that enough. So they started thinking about that. I don't know, right? I just know whatever went down, the official story, I don't know. What really happened, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying at this point, even in America, whatever anything happens that looks crazy, people immediately start looking for the Messiah. It don't matter what it is. Like, at this point, it's almost laughable, because it's like, man, come on, man. It can't be everywhere behind everything, right? you know what I'm saying? So, all right, let's try to get back on track. Anyway, let's see which one. Oh, no, see, okay. Now, here was one, and I want to bring this up for a reason, right? Jerusalem brought this up, and I talked about this before. It says Saudi royal family are descendants of Jews who fought Prophet Muhammad. Now, you can tell that this is a Jewish Muslim, because they stripped the Prophet Muhammad. They stripped him of his title, and this is according to an Iranian general. So, the Iranian general is saying that this guy Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is not an Arab, but is in fact a closet Jew. And this was like 3 years ago. Well, actually, almost 4 years ago. Now, do I know for a fact that that's the case? No. Would I be surprised? I mean, would I be, do I have a reason to doubt it? No, because if we're dealing with one thing about Islamic history that people forget, there were Jewish communities in Medina when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to Medina, and he had conflict with them there, right? Now, did those people just disappear or move or anything like that? No. What did they do? They melted in with the general society. What was the general society? The general society was Muslim, right? One thing we've seen, right, over the history of Jewish people that we can say over, let's say, the last 1,000 years minimum, is that they will blend into a society, publicly say that they are part of whatever the society is, right? They'll be French, they'll be Arab, they'll be whatever, right? We only think about it in Europe as they'll be French or German or, Belgians, all that stuff, right? But the part we forget is, if you study Islamic history or you study history intensely, because Jewish people were some of the few people who were literate, that allowed them to go back and forth and allowed them to do commerce and allowed them to do trade and allowed them to travel and allowed them to have a high standing in various societies because they could read and write. So because of the proximity of Arabic and Hebrew, that allowed them to assimilate that language and spread that language. So when the Arabs spread out, it was nothing for the Jews to just be right amongst them. So is it totally ridiculous that the Prince is Jewish? I mean, is it out the realm of possibility? No, it's not outside the realm of possibility. Like the sister said, they're amongst the so-called, because some of the richest, quote unquote, Latino families in South America are Jewish because they were some of the people that established some of those countries, right? We forget that. And I ain't mean to go into all the history, but I was talking to a sister about this earlier, so let me just go here real quick. We don't talk about slavery properly from a historical perspective because we do not connect these two things, or three things, excuse me. We don't connect the Islamic slave trade to the transatlantic slave system through the connection of the fall of the Moorish rule in Southern Europe, right? We don't connect these three things. But in order to properly understand the Western or transatlantic slave system, you have to understand the Islamic slave system and the fall of the Islamic Empire in Southern Europe, how those people were pushed out into Northern Africa, disrupted those societies, and how those Jewish people became the Lancados and the Moranos, who took over an island on the west coast of Africa, right? And then started their slavery process from there. So In order to understand those, if you understand those things, then you will understand the ability of them to move and be in different places. Because again, if you go back to the founding of Saudi Arabia, European countries and America had a hand in the founding of Saudi Arabia. But the kingdom of Saudi Arabia now is not a natural inheritor of the kingdom that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam set up. It is not, right? If you go throughout Islamic history, what you'll find is that the capital of the Islamic Empire moves around and different people take on at different periods of time, took over the rulership of Islam. And then eventually it came back to Arabia, came back to the two holy places, and Wahhabist Islam was set up, and the Ibn Saud family was set up, and thus we are here, right? Through all of that, if you think it's impossible for Jewish people to intermarry into that family with all that going on, you're just not paying attention to history. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say, do I know for a fact? No. But would I be surprised? Absolutely not. Right? But so I went through all that history. Let's read the article, right? And there's a reason that I'm going through this. I'm not just going through it, just going through it. It says the commander of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Navy, said on January 7th that the ruling family of Saudi Arabia were actually Jewish, and that their conflict with Iran harkens back to 7th century battles between Muslim and Jewish tribes. The speech was aired on Iran's Bashir TV and translated by MEMRI, the Middle Eastern Media Research Institute. It says, we cannot bear to see injustice in a Muslim country that is perpetrated by the Zionists and the seed of the Jews, said Commander Ali Reza Tangsiri in a video recording of the speech. I want to continue reading. What are we doing? I said, okay. Man, come on now. It says, we cannot bear to see the Muslims are being slaughtered by people who call themselves Christian but are not. He added, seeming to refer to the U.S. assassination of former IRGC Quds Force Commander Qasem Soleimani. These are the very same Jews, and I'd say Zionists, whose hearts have never aligned with Islam, and even with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his time, during his time. Right? That the grudge that the enemies harbor towards Hajj Soleimani resembles their grudge towards Imam Hussein in Karbala. He said, referring to the son of Ali, the first Imam of the Shia Muslims, and to the battle in which he was killed, which was a formative event in Shia Islam. He says the grudge still exists. The Iranian leadership is Shia, as opposed to the leadership of Saudi Arabia, which is Sunni. Tangsiri then mentioned other battles in which early Muslims fought local Jewish tribes who were Muslim by name. Are the Saud clan really Muslims? No, they are the same Jews who were in Arabia back then. The House of Saud is the ruling family of Saudi Arabia since 1744, composed of the descendants of Mohammed bin Saud and his brothers. Iranian rhetoric against the U.S. and Israel has been more fiery than usual in recent weeks, due in part to the 2-year anniversary of the January 3rd, 2020 killing of Soleimani by U.S. drones, which was prompted by President Donald Trump. Why would President Donald Trump kill Soleimani? Because Netanyahu has pictures of Donald Trump violating a little girl. Y'all heard what I said. I ain't got nothing else to say about it. Let's see. Brother, we got ripped off. Says this year alone, from personal research, I found more than 10 different groups of sub-ethnicities inside of major ethnicities. That's the key to finding Jewish infiltration. Now, here's what's deep, brother, to your point. When we go to the African continent, and I think I talked about this before, but I'll talk about it again. I talked about the Mancados and Moranos the part that I forgot was that no one ever covered and researched where they went and who they became. And then I have had people tell me that what happened is that through the wealth that they acquired and the influence through slave trading, that some of the prominent families that you see in Africa, right, because they were mixed and they became blacker, mixing amongst themselves and bringing in, mixing with other Africans, that those people are still prominent. They're still prominent families in Africa, but they're descendants of Jewish people who were in South Europe and then came to Africa, reproduced with African women, produced mixed children who became slave traders. And though the descendants of those children are still there generations later, and that's something that we have never properly looked into. So, to Brother Rick's point about infiltration, it's even on the African continent, but it's not something that we widely discuss. Now, let's get on to the next article. Nope, hit that one. All right, here we go. It says how the RSF is adopting Israel's template for genocide in Sudan. It says for years, Israel has used human rights terminology to whitewash killing civilians. Now the RSF is doing the same. So not only are they taking money and tech from them, but they're using their methodology. So let's read this. It says on April 11th, the paramilitary, rapid support forces stormed the Zamzam displacement camp in Sudan's North Darfur, burning huts and shops, executing medics, and firing at fleeing civilians. According to monitors, at least 500 people, men, women, children, and elderly, were killed, and hundreds of thousands were forcibly displaced. The attack provoked global outrage, prompting the RSF to double down on propaganda it had been spreading for months about Zamzam, that it was actually a military barracks. Zamzam was a military zone, so the RSF decided that we should evacuate civilians. RSF advisor Ali Musabel told Al Jazeera, without providing evidence for his claim. We didn't want civilians to get caught in the crossfire, so that's why you shot at them. Yeah, that's crazy, but if you say so. By labeling Zamzam a military zone, the RSF is trying to apply the same model Israel uses to justify bombing hospitals and schools in the Gaza Strip, said Rifat Makawi, a Sudanese human rights lawyer. This is not a coincidence. It is a deliberate practice aimed at stripping civilians of their legal protection by labeling them as combatants or instruments of war, he told Al Jazeera. Throughout Sudan's civil war, the RSF has used human rights jargon and terms from international humanitarian law, the legal framework designed to protect civilians to carry out atrocities. For years, Israel employed this practice in an attempt to ward off criticism of killing and oppressing Palestinians, according to legal scholars. Since launching its genocidal war on Gaza in October 7, 2023, it has doubled down. It claims hospitals in Gaza are Hamas-controlled and command centers, trying to justify attacking health facilities, which are protected under international humanitarian law. It also claims Hamas hides among civilians to use them as human shields to justify disproportionate and intentional attacks on the same civilians. In addition, it has branded its mass expulsions of civilians as humanitarian evacuations, giving people hours to pack up their entire lives and get out the way of Israeli bombs if they can. Israel stands accused of genocide by rights groups and United Nations experts for its war that has killed at least 52,567 Palestinians. And the RSF is increasingly adopting Israel's strategy, local monitors and legal experts say. The fact that the claims made by the RSF in Sudan resemble the claims in Israel, making in Gaza, reveals the emergence of a template to commit mass extermination and even genocide, said Luigi Daniele, senior lecturer of IHL at Nottingham Law School. The UN accuses both sides in the war committing grave crimes, such as killing and torturing prisoners of war, since a power struggle erupted between two former allies, the RSF and the Sudanese Armed Forces, erupted into all-out civil war in April 2023. Human rights groups accused RSF of perpetrating additional atrocities, including carrying out possible genocide against the non-Arab communities in Darfur, which really is a continuation of the attacks on Darfur that have been going on for I don't know how long. So I want to play this video dealing with some of the atrocities of the RSF that have been reported, and then we'll get back to this information.
Charity has released a report documenting sexual violence in Sudan. It's the latest in a series of allegations of rape, sexual assault, sexual slavery and torture carried out by the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. Amnesty International describes the horror of the RSF's sexual violence as overwhelming, but it says the cases documented represent a small fraction of the violations the fighters have likely committed. The conflict has exposed more than 12 million people to widespread sexual violence, which is being used to terrify the entire population. That's according to the UN. Well, the latest Amnesty International report says Sudan's Rapid Support Forces raped or gang raped at least 36 women and girls in the first 18 months of the conflict. The attacks happened in 4 states. Survivors described brutal assaults, severe beatings, torture and sexual slavery. Some of the girls were as young as 15. Amnesty says the women were not able to get medical help or report the attacks because of the ongoing fighting and fear of reprisal. The UN says the conflict in Sudan has caused the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. Nearly 14 million people have been displaced. Let's bring in Freddie Carver. He's Director of Humanitarian Policy Group at ODI Global. He joins us now from Nairobi. Good to speak to you. We've got Amnesty there reporting 36 documented cases of rape or gang rape. What do you think the real number is more likely to be?
I think it's impossible to know, Laura, but as you say, I mean, I think, and as Amnesty and others have said, it's clearly the tip of the iceberg. I think this latest report comes on top of 2 recent reports by the UN that make very clear that there's been widespread sexual violence in all parts of the country by all parties. I think if we look at a recent UNICEF report that focused on the impact on children, they come up with a figure of 221 rape cases against children under 16 just in the last year, including quite a number of children under the age of 5. I mean, these are appalling situations. And more than that, it also fits into a long-standing pattern of conflict in Sudan. If we go back to the 1990s, we have evidence of a policy of rape being enacted by warring parties, both government and non-government, as part of their attempts to control particular different groups in different parts of the country.
Yeah, as you say, it's not just the RSF who are committing these atrocities, it's the Sudanese armed forces who are reportedly doing so. Why are the women in Sudan particularly vulnerable in these times of conflict?
I think it's important to understand that it's not only targeted at women, but I think the use of sexual violence is a very established way of kind of dominating and control over communities. It feeds into the kind of the very social fabric of communities. I think the evidence that we have around sexual violence in conflict, this kind of violence is never about sex. It's always about power. It's always about dominance and control. And women are central to the social fabric of communities. And by engaging in this kind of behavior, it's really an attack on those communities as a whole, both in their present, but also in their future. And it's that, I think, the depth of the impact that is the reason it's been such a commonly used tactic by so many different warring groups across the country.
And so what do you think can be done to try to break this cycle of violence?
I think the key thing is to take a victim-led response, but also to recognize that this is the symptom of these kind of structural dynamics that are behind the conflict. So therefore, any response needs to start from that perspective. So how do we respond to really trying to tackle the conflict itself? And clearly nothing can be done without stopping the conflict. There's a major conference happening in the UK next week on the second anniversary of the war, bringing together political actors, supporters of different groups within Sudan. I think it's really important that focuses on this question of protection of civilians and looks at how more pressure can be placed on the parties to bring this war to an end. And then in terms of how we engage, we really need to focus on how do we support the agency of communities and the agency of women. We need to not see women solely as the victims of these kinds of appalling crimes, but as people that, as with other members of their communities, need to be crucial in leading a more peaceful, a more positive future for Sudan in terms of promoting peace building, finding ways of kind of promoting economic activity. This is, I think, the crucial that we see the response to these crimes in that wider context.
Freddie Carver, many thanks indeed for taking the time to join us there from Nairobi.
Thank you.
All right, brothers and sisters. So, yeah, we see against women, and let me just say this. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Sisters, I know we used to law and order here in America. I believe that law and order is breaking down here in America. And I believe it's going to be allowed to get out of control to allow a total crackdown and a complete surveillance state in the future. With that being said, I'm telling every sister within the sound of my voice, those who are watching now and those who are watching later, do your best to find a group of honorable men who value you, whether they're physical family or spiritual family, and unite with them for your protection. Don't wait until the stuff hits the fan. The time to do that is now. That don't mean you got to marry no brother or nothing like that. Just find somebody that you align with ideologically or whatever the case may be, religiously, spiritually, whatever. Because this type of lawlessness and anarchy, I believe, is coming to America in the near future. I think it's going to be allowed to get to that point. Probably not under a Republican president, just for political reasons, but I believe it's going to be allowed to get to that point to in order a total dystopian nightmare crackdown. I could be wrong, right? Don't get me. I don't have a time frame, but I don't think it's that far off. The way things are going, I'm looking at less than 10 years. So that's just my message to the sisters. And hey, you can, as the nation used to say, you can take it or let it alone. Brother, You Got Ripped Off had a post that it was something you had posted that I really want to. Oh, okay, yeah. But You Got Ripped Off got ahead of the class. Said RSF were trained by UAE soldiers who received their training from the IDF, whose religious doctrine allows them the violation of children according to the Babylonian Talmud. All facts lead to Israel. Yeah, brother. Yeah. Those are all facts. Trying to think. See, what was the next article? Okay, here we go. It says Israel, a behind-the-scenes power broker in Sudan, and this is from Responsible Statecraft. Says this is from a year ago. Says Israel is a behind-the-scenes power broker in Sudan. It has long been clear that the road to peace in Sudan runs through Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, America's three closest Arab allies. But last month, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reminded the Sudanese that he has a stake in their country as well. Speaking at the UN General Assembly in September, Netanyahu caused a stir among Sudanese when he held up two maps, the curse and the blessing. The first had Israel's sworn enemies, Iran, Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, and the Houthis marked in black. The second had its friends in green, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Sudan. So now let me stop right here. I'm going to just say this, right? As a former Muslim, I'm going to be completely honest. There is absolutely no way that you can call yourself a Muslim in good standing and be amongst those countries that are friends of Israel based upon Israel's actions against Iran, Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, right? And the Palestinians. Now, I'm not going to sit around and tell Muslims what they should be doing, right? But I can tell you what you should not be doing. And that is piling around with your enemy, right? So I don't know what's going on, other than this gives credence to the whole maybe Saudi Arabia ain't really run by Muslims type of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's looking shaky, baby. That's what I'm saying. So I'll just tell the Muslim people that, according to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a Muslim wants for his brother what he wants for himself. And so if his brother is facing genocide, he doesn't want that. What he wants for himself is freedom, justice, and equality. And if his brother can't get that, then, well, jihad should be taking place. But I'm not Muslim, so, ain't nobody got to listen to me. But I find it interesting that as someone who's not Muslim, the same issues that Black people have of disunity because of our accepting of doctrines that come from outside people who can ultimately be traced to Zionism, right? For example, the Christianity that Black people believe in is, I come to find out, is controlled by Zionists through money. Well, apparently the Islam that some people believe in is controlled by Zionists through money. All I can say is that if people took a look and compared things, they would find some weirdly coincidental things happening in their communities. And this is why I say that Black people around the world, instead of arguing with each other, should actually just come together and compare notes about what's going on. We'll be shocked by what we find, and we'll be shocked by the similarities of the problems that we face. So, yeah, but I guess I'll just get back to the article, because that's my, that's my TED talk to the Muslim world. Now it says, shortly after that, Israeli journalist Jonathan Lees wrote that Israel was floating a possible deal to ending the fighting in Gaza, which senior Hamas leaders would go into exile in Sudan. Hamas denied it. Yahya Sinwar would rather die in Gaza than flee the state. The Sudanese Armed Forces, or SAF, denied it too, but the fact that Sudan was on Israel's radar brings into focus how Sudan's war is entangled with the Middle East higher profile conflicts. Now hold up. How in the world are you going to just make a deal to send your enemies to somebody else's country that's currently in the middle of a war? Like, bro, man, the audacity, man, is crazy. Be like, yeah, we tired of fighting you here, so we're gonna send you over there where they're fighting. Really? And you think that a dude is gonna leave the land that he's fighting on to go somewhere else where people are fighting somewhere he may have to fight anyway as soon as he get there? That don't make no sense. Of course he's willing to die where he's at, for the land that he's on. It don't make sense to go nowhere else and die. Hey man, this article is wild. What? Anyway, it says in 2020, as part of a deal with the Trump administration, removed Sudan's designation as state sponsor of terrorism, Sudan agreed to join the Abraham Accords. Hey man, if you join the Abraham Accords and you're supposed to be a Muslim country, bruh, I don't even know what to say. Anyway, General Abdel Fattah el-Burhan, head of Sudan's Sovereign Council, de facto head of state, met with Netanyahu in Kampala, Uganda. Hey, come on, man. Hey, wait a minute. The breakthrough meeting was hosted by Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni, but it was brokered by UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed, known as MBZ. Hey, wait a minute, man. Come on. What in the world? Why is Museveni help broker deals between Netanyahu and the Sudan? What are we doing? What is taking place? Somebody help me out. Oh man, I see your question, brother. You got ripped off. I'm still processing this because I'm trying to figure out what Museveni is doing. All right. Anyway, brother, you got ripped off says, is it safe to say that the country of Qatar is run by undercover assets? I would not be surprised at thinking. Oh, my bad. Excuse me. That's Brother Crow. My bad, Brother Crow. My bad, Brother Crow. So that's Brother Crow with $5 super chat. Says it's safe to say that, brother, I'm going to say that all of the Arab Emirates that's around Saudi Arabia that have this massive wealth are definitely hat connected. I just put it like that. So I'll just put it that way. Definitely hat connected. If they're totally if the actual heads of state, actual hats, I can't say with certainty, so I won't. But are they connected? Absolutely. By the way, I've been on for an hour and a half. I haven't made this announcement, so let me make this announcement really, really quickly. Again, I'm your host, DC Radical One. Follow me on Instagram at DC.Radical1, on Twitter at DC_Radical_ONE, or OTW2, which is being I got a notification that OTW2 is being upgraded for 2026. So congratulations to them. You can find me there at DC Radical One. If you are enjoying this program or you like the work that we do, you can donate via Cashapp at $DC Radical One or via Zelle at DC.Radical_1 at protonmail.com. And you can email me at DC.Radical_1 at protonmail.com. Also, if you are you're Black owned business, you would like to advertise with us for this show or actually this is what we do, not just for this show. If you advertise with us, you'll advertise with this show and you'll advertise on our Instagram as well. Instagram had just passed the 10K. We have over 10,000 followers on Instagram. So considering that we've been we spent like 3 years being blacklisted, what was it? Shadow banned, reaching 10K in an accomplishment. So we'll see how long they keep up the main page. In the meanwhile, considering what we post over there. So if you're interested in that, shoot me an email. What I'll probably do is I'll probably end up giving people the month rate for 6 weeks. So if you sign up now, you get the last 2 weeks of this month and all of January. So that's what I'm doing for right now. But take advantage of it or not. The choice is yours. Just letting you all know. Now, get back to this article. It says shortly after I read that part already. Yeah, I never the Museveni thing. Like, we totally off guard. It says Sudan then froze Hamas assets in Sudan. So okay, so they Sudan definitely working with Israel if they're freeing Hamas is asking. Because again, Sudan is a Muslim country and Hamas are Muslim. So, yeah. In the last days of the Trump administration, Al Burhan signed the declarative section of the Abraham Accord in the presence of the U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. Plans for a formal signing with Israel moved slowly, with a timetable reportedly agreed only in February 2023 when Israel Foreign Minister Eli Cohen visited Khartoum. Al Burhan's deputy at the time, General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, known as Hamedi, also has close ties with Israel. He developed close relations with the UAE, renting out his Rapid Support Forces units to fight as mercenaries in Yemen, whereby he also established strong ties with Israel's Mossad. And that, brothers and sisters, led us to where we are. We say, brother, you got rid of, we good until we're making money. Did I miss him? Anyway, it filled me in. I feel like I missed something. I was reading hard. So this is the connection that the brother was talking about between RSF, which is Hamedi's forces, and the UAE and Mossad, right? Now, it says when war broke out in Sudan in April 2023, pitting the two generals against each other, Israel was in contact with both men. The foreign ministry leaned towards Al Burhan and the SAF, Mossad towards the RSF. Hold up. Wait a minute. So Israel's on both sides of the war. The Israeli foreign ministry is backing up the Sudanese armed forces, and the Mossad is backing up the RSF. Have I talked about this before? Because it seems like all of a sudden I've talked about this before, but I don't know if I talk about this, but I'm having a deja vu moment, but it's still crazy to me. Am I tripping? So not only Israel, not only are they playing both sides, but they got two different parts of the government on each side going against each other, backing up both forces, causing the war and genocide to take place in Africa. This is standard protocol, actually. This is actually standard protocol, but it's still wild. Bro, let us read. It says Israel's Arab friends also back different sides in the war. Egypt supports the SAF in line with its tradition of backing Khartoum's military establishment. Man, Egypt, and that's a whole nother thing. Let me not get into that. Anyway, the UAE provides extensive support to the RSF, even while the private Bank of Khartoum, which is majority owned by UAE financiers, is the main financial conduit for the SAF. So the UAE is basically on both sides with the money. Worried by the UAE's destabilizing role in the Red Sea, which it considers its own backyard. Hey, this ain't even a real country, bro. How you? What happened? This stuff just popped up all over. Like these little jib-jab countries just regulating what's going on in Africa is wild to me. Anyway, during 18 months of fighting, a succession of mediation initiatives by the United States, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and African leaders have come to nothing. One reason for this is that each time Al Burhan agrees to meet with Hamedi or send a delegation to do so, the leader of the Sudan's powerful Islamist, Ali Karti, vetoes the meeting. Okay, now I don't know who that is. Washington has put Karti under sanctions for actively obstructing their efforts to reach a ceasefire. Now I need to find out who that is. The Sudanese Islamists have long-standing ties to Hamas, which was a member of the cartoon-based Popular Arab and Islamic Congress from the early 1990s, where it established offices, business, and training camps. Hamas sourced weapons from Sudan, provoking Israeli airstrikes. Man, this whole thing is a jumbled mess. Active cooperation cooled in 2014 under pressure from Saudi Arabia. Egypt and Saudi Arabia, despite their long-standing aversion to the Muslim Brotherhood, have come to believe that the Sudanese Islamists can be managed and no longer pose a threat to their borders. Egypt's recent tripartite pact with Eritrea and Somalia also embraces the Damu Jadid group, a branch of the Muslim Brotherhood in Somalia. Cairo and Riyadh have been ready to see money and weapons flow to SAF from Qatar, Turkey, and even Iran. Wait a minute. Saudi Arabia is taking weapons from Iran. They don't agree on nothing. Like, they don't. It's crazy. All of this is insane. Anyway, but Abu Dhabi remains hostile to Islamists, so far unpersuaded by Egypt's argument that if it can live with the Muslim brothers next door, the Emirates should be able to do so as well. All right, let me start right here. So let me make a quick explanation of why all of these countries see the Muslim Brotherhood as a country. The Muslim Brotherhood are, as it states, Muslims in action. So the reality of the situation is the Muslim Brotherhood and other what they call Islamists are Muslims who want to see Muslims who are Muslim rule these areas that have been predominantly Muslim controlled for the last 1,300 years, right? Understandable. So let's think of it like this. Black people in America, when we vote for an official, right? City official, whatever, we expect him to work primarily for the black people who primarily voted for him from the primarily black district that he comes from, right? And if he doesn't do that, generally speaking, over the years, up until recently, where we just become just inert, we have a problem. The Muslim Brotherhood thinks of it the same way. If you go back and look at some of the writings that Osama bin Laden said, his discussion on the near enemy and the far enemy had the same issue. Basically, as Osama bin Laden said, and his analysis is actually useful for a lot of people. He said the problems we're having is that our near enemy, who are the rulers who are Muslim in name only, are funded and controlled by our far enemy that we can't get to, i.e. Israel and the United States, right? So it's just like when we have problems with officials that we want to help us, or black people who have reached some sort of status, or whatever the case may be. The reason we can't get the Congressional Black Caucus, for example, to do anything for black people is because they're controlled by AIPAC. You see what I'm saying? So we would have to find a way to deal with AIPAC, or to wrestle those people away from AIPAC, or to remove those people from their position. Some type of way. So they have the same issue. These Arab countries, I'm saying they're Arab countries because they're not Muslim countries, that are nominally Muslim, are not doing anything to benefit neither the Muslim people in their country nor Muslims in other countries. Because if they did, none of this would be taking place. For example, right? Nataru Straight Black Pride. Good to see you. For example, right? The Houthis, quote unquote, that's the name given to them. That's not the actual what they call themselves. Have fired rockets on Israel virtually continuously, despite the fact of being threatened, bombed, sanctioned, you name it, they faced it. And all they do is take their missiles that they got, whichever, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know how they got any missiles left. And literally, they fire their 1 to 3 missiles per day into Israel every day. That's all they do. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like clockwork. It's, you know what I'm saying? They break out their hypersonic missile, they roll it up off the back of a truck or whatever, they set it up and they fire it, and they say, we will stop firing these missiles when you stop killing our Muslim brothers. And Israel says, well, we're not going to stop killing people. And the Houthis say, ooh, we're not going to stop bombing. Take it how you want it. You know what I'm saying? Now, why do I have respect for that? I have respect for it because a Muslim wants for his brother what he wants for himself, right? So, to me, I would like a black country anywhere in the world to carry it the same way with the United States when it comes to, if they see something happening to black people are being brutalized, they ain't got to send no missiles because I know they ain't built like that. But I'm saying if they were like, well, we're not going to allow any white people from America into our country because y'all killing our brothers over there. So that's how we're going to keep, you just can't come, get out of our face until you stop killing our people. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's British. You just say that. The first group to unify against the hat is going to win. Period. Whereas Muslims, Arabs, Christians, white Christians, Hispanics, black people, you name it. First ones to unite against the hat is going to win. If no one unites against the hat, the hat's going to win. That's the rules of the game. Be before they straight black proud brothers rock. That's how it's going to be. Because one thing we see here, if Israel is causing all this confusion in Africa through proxies, right? Through different people and different groups and funding these people and giving money to people to give the money to other people to give weapons to other people and all this stuff. And then coming in and trying to play peacemaker and then getting other African nations to work with them who we don't even think of, because I never think about Mussolini working with no Netanyahu do nothing. That ain't come across my radar until reading this article. The first group that figures out, nah, not them folks, is going to win. And if nobody figures it out, we're going to lose. I haven't looked into it, but the attacks on the AES that are currently going on with Nigeria talking big and bad and talking greasy and flying spy planes into Burkina Faso, I need to look and see who put the battery in their back. Because everybody's saying it's France. Yeah, possibly. Or could be somebody else. So anyway, what I'm gonna do, because I got another video that I want to run, and it's just talking about the different outside forces that are just causing all this confusion in the Sudan. So let me run this video real quick.
The battle in Sudan rages on. Mediation efforts and ceasefires have so far failed. Can regional powers that back the rival sides bring enough pressure to stop the fighting, or is their involvement only complicating peace efforts? This is Inside Story. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Foliba Thibault. Fighting in Sudan between forces loyal to two generals is threatening to turn into a prolonged conflict. Violence erupted in Khartoum a week ago. That followed weeks of power struggles between Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and his deputy Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, known as Hemeti, the commander of the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF. So far, hundreds of people have been killed and thousands injured. It's led to thousands more fleeing the capital, Khartoum, for neighboring Chad. Many of them fear this may be the beginning of a much wider conflict. Now, outside forces are complicating the situation, with both sides receiving support from regional and global powers. We'll get to our guests in a moment, but first, this report.
From chaos to calm, intense street battles have thrown Sudan's capital into turmoil in the past few days. Its streets are emptying as thousands of people flee Khartoum. The conflict is driven by a power struggle between Sudan's army, led by Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, and the Rapid Support Forces, a paramilitary group, under Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, also known as Hemeti. The two generals have been jostling for control of the country's economy and its military. That has torn up plans for a return to civilian rule.
This destruction and sound of gunfire did not leave room for happiness that our beloved people deserve. We are very sad for this pain, but there's still hope that together we'll pass this crisis and come out of it more united and strong. One army, one nation.
Sudan's strategic location on the Red Sea and its access to the Nile River and vast gold reserves have long been coveted by other powers, leading to both sides being backed by outside forces. Hemeti accuses Egypt of colluding with Burhan and sending fighter jets and soldiers to help the Sudanese military. Egypt has denied the allegations and said its forces were in Sudan for a joint military exercise. Hemeti has close ties with Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Libya. And Libyan warlord Khalifa Haftar has reportedly sent military supplies to the Rapid Support Forces, which he denies. The Russian mercenary organization Wagner Group has also been accused of plundering Sudan's gold resources to bankroll its operations in Ukraine.
We don't have yet information that it has been actively engaged in conflict, but it is, of course, in no way it can be denied that it has been somehow behind the Hemeti's organization and trying to protect that RSF's dominations in Sudan's politics.
Israel is involved too. Its foreign minister, Eli Cohen, has been engaging with Burhan on normalizing ties between the two countries in recent years. A prolonged conflict would also disrupt plans by UAE companies to build ports, as well as China's investments in Sudan. Any escalation would have regional implications, threatening nearby states like South Sudan that export oil through its northern neighbor. There would also be a risk of rising numbers of refugees fleeing across borders, causing more instability. And for Sudan itself, the longer the conflict goes on, the bigger the risk of it widening, and the greater the suffering of its people. Felix Nyawara for Inside Story.
Well, let's now bring in our guests for today's Inside Story. Joining us from Cairo is Matt Nashed, who's a journalist and analyst covering the Middle East and North Africa region. In Khartoum, Sudan, Kholoud Khair, founding director at Confluence Advisory, a Sudan-based think tank. She's also host of Spotlight 249 on Capital FM Sudan. And in Montreal, Canada, is Khalid Medani, associate.
My bad, brothers and sisters. We don't have time to watch that whole thing. But I think we got the gist of the information we needed, that the number of outside people involved in this conflict, and of course they saved Israel for last but not least, now, well, I miss my music real quick. Oh, here you go. It says, how I just discovering a video upload of the great Steve Coakley entitled Diamonds, Jewish People in South Africa, The Connection. Yeah, send me the link for that, brother. I don't know if you got Instagram. If you got Instagram, send that to me. I like to watch that myself. I can't say whether or not I saw it before or not, but I'm always down for some good Steve Coakley information. There's a brother. God, I wish I could think of the book. Brother, you got ripped off. If you can help me out, brother Marmon in South Africa wrote a book. I can't think of the name of it, but it's a good book on South Africa. What's really going on? That's all I can say. That brings me to what I wanted to talk about before I close up. All right. So, yeah, February, which all of a sudden is, no, brother. Wrong person. No, wrong person. That's not him. To my brother that's from South Africa. Here's what I want to ask you. So I'm thinking about I've been thinking about doing this for years, but it just has not happened yet. I've been thinking about having 4 different elder scholars, warrior scholars, in February for each day of, I guess I do it for each day of the center, I guess. I don't know. And so these are the people I'm thinking about right now. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. So, of course, the Barudis. They're probably top of my list. I've been meaning to get Bob Barudi on the show for I don't know how long. It just hasn't happened. It's just because of me. You know what I'm saying? I just be wanting to have something. I be wanting to have the audience. I be wanting to have. Yeah, you can post a link. You can just post a link here, brother. I get it out there, or you can post it afterwards underneath. That'll be better. It'll be right there. It'll get it out. So, either Baba Barudi or Baba and Mama Barudi. Baba Crazy and Baba Zulu, founder Ujma Shule, who I know first. And this is Najee, who's the 4th person? Baba Olatunji. So those are the 4 people I'm thinking trying to bring on the show, or maybe 4 groups of people, 4 groups of scholars. What do you all think about? What do you all think about that? And if not those people, is there anyone else? Is there anyone that I'm missing that's worth having and doing a 2-hour interview with? Y'all let me know that. So I'm waiting for your response to that. In the meantime, let's just see. Yeah, I wanted to play this because while we're talking about disruption of African life, disruption of African nations, disruption of African societies. I want to just play this video just as a reminder. Because brother, you got ripped off. I believe you mentioned the Congo, and we had mentioned the Congo earlier. But I wanted to post this video because I remember I posted before that I didn't know that there's an Israeli billionaire who is making money from the conflict in the Congo. You know, speaking of diamonds, speaking of people who make money with diamonds, this person here, Baba Olatunji says I can have. I mean, you got Rick said I can have Baba Olatunji tomorrow. Yeah, I'll let you know, brother, because I had actually, and maybe I'll let you talk. I'll let you talk to him. I had asked him, did he want some promo on the channel and on the Instagram, and included in that would be an interview, and he didn't. I don't think he kind of understood. Who in the world is this talking? This Turkey, Iran are heavily involved in Africa with zero talk on that. First of all, Turkey is basically just, they're not even real Muslims. Like they're just Europeans. We don't deal with any Europeans, so there's no need for us to talk about that. And talking about Israel's involved too. Israel needs to be nuked. Period. So all that other, whatever else you talking about, take that back with you. The hell out of here with that nonsense. Plain and simple. When Israel gets nuked, everything will be better for everybody on earth. If Israel isn't nuked, everybody on earth is going to be eradicated. That's it. That's the whole discussion. Anything else you talking about, you can. All right, my bad. I'm back. Where was I? Oh yeah. So yeah, y'all still haven't commented on other than brother. You got ripped off. So yeah, brother, you got ripped off. Let him know that I give him the $30 break for that. So maybe he'll get some extra sales. For a month. Now, what do y'all think about that? Well, first of all, what do y'all think about the idea in general of having those 4 scholars? Sister Najee says she would be excited about it. Okay. So you would only be excited. Okay, so one person would be excited about it. So nobody is excited for the Rubies. All right, I'll be sure to let them know that. What about Brother Crow? You just sent me a $2 super chat, but you ain't got no message attached to it. Send me your message so I can post your message. I don't know if you did that on purpose or you just, I know how that is. Sometimes people mean to send a message and they don't. But yeah, that's my idea for February, which grand scheme of things are around the corner at this point. But those are the 4 people I'm thinking. Does anybody have any other people that they would like to? Am I missing anybody? Is there anybody else I should consider? I don't have any names. That's why I'm asking. Is there any sisters that y'all know that's doing the work? Brother Crow says, how about T West? I wouldn't be against it. I just don't have any connection with the brother. So I don't even know, other than Jeannie, I don't even know how I can even connect with him. Brother Elijah said, excited about all the elders you mentioned. Lots of wisdom will be Friday. Thank you, brother. Thank you for that. Let's see. So no one else. Okay. So no one else has any more input in that. So that I'm not missing anybody. There's no one other than possibly T West. Okay. All right. Well, that will be the preliminary lineup, and I'll let you all know what they say. Bro, you got ripped off. Can you reach out to the Barudis for me as well? I haven't talked to Bob in a long time. and just see if they would be interested. And I just have to figure out. Sister Najee, would you rather do that on SBL Talk, or would you rather do that on? Or would you rather not do it and not do it on the center? Let me know that. You can text that to me if you want. You can text that to me or whatever. Okay, so you would want to do that on SBL? Okay. Brother, I don't even know who that is. Or you ever talk? I don't even know who that is. So, all right. So we'll work to do that. I don't have a direct connection with Bob Crazy, but I know someone who does. So, all right. So we have a plan. we have a plan, and we'll see how that goes. Weirdly enough, the hardest person to actually track down and pin down will probably be Baba Zulu. Y'all don't know Baba Zulu. I want y'all to know Baba Zulu because his life is incredible. Just put it like that. So all right. So I gave y'all a little bit of a. Let's see. What do you say, Baba? What do you say? What's what I can say? At this moment, I cannot think of any other living Black African that's about Black liberation, or that covers these topics, or that covers these parasitic hats. Maybe I'm limited in scope. But yeah, I know I know Brother Gene knows T West. Yeah, I mentioned that. That's the only connection I might have. What I can really say? I don't know. I'm lost my train of thought. Just as Sonia says, in the kindest regards to brother. Yeah, I'll do that. I was getting ready to say something. I totally lost my train of thought. But anyway, yeah. Oh yeah, I saw my Baba Zulu. So anyway, real quick. So, because I'm sure y'all hear me drop his name regularly, but Baba Zulu founded the oldest continuously running African Center School here in America. Right? They started back in 1968. They're in the same Black neighborhood that they've been in for decades. Right? But before that, he was a freedom rider in March with Dr. King, and then he traveled to Africa, and he came back. He's working with, I feel like this. I'm gonna just give you a list of some of the people that he's worked with or had speak at the school. Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, and I'm pretty sure Stokely Carmichael. Those are the people that I've either seen video, pictures of, or heard him say that they had been in the school. So, and he used to have Dr. Ben used to come in basically teach from 7 till middle of the night, midnight. You know what I'm saying? So, Baba Zulu is a living legend and a human library. Like, the number of people that he has met or known or worked with, Marion Barry, I mean, like, from civil rights to Black Power people. So that's why I want to bring him on and get him exposure to people that don't know. Yeah, brother, Ujima Shule in DC in Northwest, like south of Howard. You know, I can't remember the exact street, but south of Howard University. what is that? Like south of Rhode Island, where Rhode Island is in that area. Where if you know where that 7-Eleven is, or in that area. And also, I might as well mention this: on the 29th, I believe, is Ujima Day, and so he'll be having this event probably at 7. His Kwanzaa event that he has every year on Ujima Day. If you're in DC, check that out. Also, I mentioned this again. If you're in DC, this Sunday, man, time flies. Like we just started planning it, and now it's here. We will be celebrating Dr. Chancellor Williams, and we'll have our gravesite ceremony at 1 p.m. We'll have the breakfast from 10:30 to 12:30 at Lost Boys and Poets. So if you're in the DC area, check that out. If you're on Instagram, I'll probably post that tomorrow. And it has been posted in the community, what they call the community section now, here on, what is this, YouTube, right? So with that, brothers and sisters, I think I'm gonna get ready to close out. And Sister Sonia says, thank you for your dedication and keeping us informed. Thank you, sister. And I'm glad you appreciate it. Again, y'all can follow me on Instagram at dc.radical1, on Twitter at dc_radical_one, on OTW2 at dcradical1. If you could donate via Cashapp, I greatly appreciate it. $dcradical1, or via Zelle at dc.radical_one at protonmail.com. And you can email me at the same address. I think that's it for today's show. Tomorrow's show, we'll do SBL talk. Sister Najee is working on that. So we're going to talk about love languages and the need for a new love language. And then I'll let you all know. But right now, the plan is to do shows next week on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Well, Monday and Tuesday for sure, and possibly Wednesday. Let me say that. And I forgot, I didn't play the damn Gertler, this video. So if y'all want me to play that, put a 1 in. If y'all just ready for me to close up, y'all let me know. I give you all 30 seconds while I'm looking for my close up that I don't have loaded. Okay, so brother said now play the dang Gertler video. All right, so yeah, just check out this damn Gertler video real quick. Real cruise. But you got rid of this. Time to pass the collection. For those of y'all who have Cash App, y'all know the Cash App. And like I said, you take Zelle as well. So man, just check this out. And I played it before, but it's been probably over a year. It's kind of weird how time flies. And y'all won't be surprised. It's just bad boy. Y'all won't be surprised at all. You know what, brothers and sisters? I am glad that we rewatched that because it reminded me how much Trump is in the pocket of these hats way back then. You know it's crazy when Biden sanctions you and Trump unsanctions you. Like, that is completely insane. So this dude is helping to rob the Congo blind, which means he's giving weapons probably to both sides, because as long as the conflict takes place, he gets to steal the diamonds. And we got to look at it as usual. We got corrupt leadership that is willing to take crumbs off the table of our enemies and let our enemies literally, completely, economically violate the country and leave the people in complete disarray while they literally just steal the bag under our noses. And let's be honest, we got a corrupt leadership problem, not only in Africa, not only in the Caribbean, not only in South America, not only in Mexico, but right here in Black America. And you see the same thing over and over and over again. And 9 times out of 10, somewhere, somebody is being paid off by actors. So now I'm done. Okay. Somehow I've seen the video before. I downloaded it and watched it. And somehow it's worse now than it was then. And I ain't gonna lie. As my brother used to say, this stuff makes my stomach hurt. So with that, brothers and sisters, man, I thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We are like 4 subscribers away from 1,400. And I know that I've been rude with some people and ran them off, but I'm not gonna lie, man. We're being genocided. And I don't be in a good mood when people be coming with talking sideways with some nonsense, for real. I'm just keep it 100. So if you coming sideways, you better bring some documentation about what you're talking about, for real. Because I don't take kindly to Black people being brutalized and killed and slaughtered, and I'm sick of our people dying for no reason and other people exploiting us for our resources. And look, man, I'm tired, man. I'm sick of it. And your brother Safo, hold up, man, brother Safo, he done hit us with something new. Say gifted 1 DC Radical 1 membership. So who? Okay, brother, how does that? Now he got me. I gotta go to I gotta go to the YouTube settings and see how that works. But I appreciate that, brother. He's gifting a DC Radical 1 membership. To whom? I don't know. Or does that mean I don't know how that works. But thank you anyway, brother. Appreciate it. I'll see how that works. But now let me continue my rant. So yeah, so if I come off kind of gruff or abrasive or just slam disrespectful, that's why. That is why. Because I'm tired of Black people getting the boot to our face economically, spiritually, and sometimes physically. Virtually continuously for centuries. So that's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So that's my reasoning. If I'm out of line, I apologize. Most of the time I'm not. But as I said before, when I played the Dr. Khaled clip, somebody has got to be strong. And everybody can't be Millie Mouth and tiptoe through the tulips while we're facing genocide. And that's as real deal Holyfield. And the Coach Snoop Dogg, sucker that he is. So, I will see you all in approximately 21 and a half hours. I thank you all to everyone who showed up. It'll be myself and Sister Najee. And I believe we're going to be talking about love languages. We'll see tomorrow. And yeah. We're almost ready for 2026 on the European calendar. And I am hoping for a better year, personally for myself, than last year, because I'm not going to lie. Except for a couple of times during the summer, last year kind of low-key sucked. So I'm hoping for a better year for myself and you all as well. So with that, brothers and sisters, I say a BB48 and straight black pride.
Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_ONE. And the Cashapp is $DCRadical1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A BB for ODA and straight black pride.